Pack up your bucket and spade and join me for a trip back to the British seaside. Together, we'll create a journal inspired by treasured holidays, vintage postcards, seaside attractions, and the stories that make those memories special. In today's episode, I'll be beginning the cover of our Vintage British Seaside Journal. As the journal grows, we'll continue adding to the cover until its final assembly, helping to protect it from damage along the way. We'll also visit Brighton Canvas Works, our first fictional seaside business, and begin building the story of the journal through printable, ephemera, handmade pages, and creative storytelling. Each episode in this series is accompanied by printable packs, with bonus resources available through Patreon and additional free downloads in the Faded Crafts Facebook community. So grab a cuppa, settle in, and let's get started. So before we get into the nitty-gritty, what you can see on the screen now is the episodes. There's 12 in total, and each episode will cover a different section. For instance, one section will be all about the beach huts, deck chairs and stuff, and then we'll go on to donkeys and food and fish and chips and all the different sections. And each video will also have the free printables and the paid for printables that will be available on Patreon and Facebook so that you can craft the Seaside Journal with me. What you are looking at here is, of course, the good old cereal box, which we'll be using to make the cover with. And this awesome fabric. Now, this has been given to me by the wonderful Jenny. I'm not going to use it all, obviously. I'm just going to use some of it and give the rest of it back to her. And it just reminds me of a seaside deck chair. What I have done with this material, guys, is I've taken a photograph of it and I've manipulated it in my digital program. So it is available for you as a printable as well. So you can, if you wanted to, you can have the exact same stripes as I have. But we also, in the printable pack, have lots more of different stripes that you can use. However beautiful it is, right now it's a bit too bright and in your face. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out the book cover from the cereal box. I'm going to measure the cloth, the material, and then I'm going to put it in a bath of tea and get it tea dyed up a bit and make it more vintage. Oops. Okie dokie, as you can see, the cloth is now being tea dyed. I haven't done it too much. I just wanted to take the brightness out of the white, and I've scrunched it so it's all nice and crinkly now, and it's looking good. We will need to fix this onto the card, but I am just waiting to see if there's anything else we can do with it with a friend of mine who has a sewing machine. So we'll see if we can, or we'll see if we can't. Now, unfortunately, the next section, when I was creating the back and front inside panels, I forgot to press record. So one of them is already finished, and here it is. It's a back panel with a pocket, and also you've probably noticed here a little peeky bit. It says the holiday may be over, but the memories remain. What is a back panel or a front panel? Well, if you can imagine this now, obviously it won't be as much material on it. It fits over the material in the back and the front of the book or journal, like that. So you've got the panel stuck down, and then you've got a pocket here and that there. You'll have one for the front as well. Again, it won't have as much material on it once it's done. You'll see when we get further on into the video. So apologies for not recording it. Silly me, just forgot. So what it basically is your card, your cereal box or other card that you're using. Now, this is a printable from one of my packs, which is be available in episode 2, I think, because in episode 2 we're doing all to do with the beach huts and wood grain. So I've stuck that on there. And this is also one of my printables, as is this. And this one is a little beach hut, like this. And inside here, it says, this book belongs to. And all I've done is on the opposite side is I've stuck this piece of paper down, that part there that says this book belongs to. And where the pocket is here, I've made sure that is stuck down with washi tape and glue, because when you're putting things in and out of the pocket like that, we don't want it to start crinkling this piece of paper. But all we have to do now is attach that to that panel, and then the front and back panels are ready to go. One little tip and trick I can give you is not everybody's printer will print the same. If you print these off at home, they might not come out looking like mine. On this one, mine has come out a little bit darker. So what I've done is I've taken some pencils and also a Sharpie pen, like this. And I have just, if you can see closely, I've gone round with Sharpie pen. I've also coloured in where shadows would be. And also I've done some shadowing around where it is glued on to the back panel. Some more colouring in there and there. It just makes it stand out a little bit more and pop. So now I'm just going to do a little bit on here. I've got like a nice vintage red colour. But what you can do is you can just gently do a little bit of shadowing here and there. And it'll just make your image pop. That's nice, isn't it? Just in there. Just a little bit here and there. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to colour it all in. Just some nice little bits. And then to go around the outside here, we'll need something like a brown. Have a look at my colours. Quite stuck down at the end. Where's my brown? Or a burgundy, maybe. And you just want to go around the outside. Just giving it a little bit of shadow like I have done with this one here. And you will immediately see that it looks like it's popping off the page. Just a little bit like that. And I would use this trick on most of your stuff that you stick down into a journal. It just gives it a... Oh, damn, let's rub that off. And that one. Yeah, just be careful. Don't do what I did. My fingers aren't working very well today. So I'm going to rub these parts off. But as you can see already, it's just making it pop out a little bit and look like it's actually sticking off the page when it's not. Just a little helpful hint and tip. As I'm working on my journals, I keep a plastic folder of all the bits and pieces that I'm printing out for myself, including the papers, the ephemera, the fussy cuts, the letter heading, everything. When I've done my journal or when I'm doing my journal spreads, I probably maybe only use half of it because I like pick and choose little bits. And so the collection of unused stuff becomes quite substantial. So what I'll be doing at the end of every journal is I'll be collecting everything that I've not used into one of these plastic folders, and I'll be doing a giveaway where I'll post this out to somebody who wins. Okie dokie, let's start on our first 4-page spread. Now again, as I've said before, different printers print things out completely differently and to different sizes. So yours, when you do it at home, will not look like mine at all. And plus with this one, my paper got jammed, so I reprinted over. So your print at home will not have this on it. Mine does. I also print mine with nice borders for a very specific reason. And the reason is because I like to use real washi tape, like these, and I've got some nice stripy ones. Or I use fake washi tape or page edges. And I've also made some in the printable pack here, and they match absolutely lovely. Got 1 or 2 in here. That's something completely different. So as you can see on the edges here, we can put in some nice stripes or some roping. I'll probably do that on the outsides of each section. So we're looking at Brighton Canvas Works, which is my first fictional business. We have a couple in the Seaside Journal, and going forward we'll have more fictitious businesses with complete papers and invoices to match that as well. So it's 4-page spread. We're just going to start here, page 1, 2, 3 and 4. The first thing I want to do though is reinforce this middle part, and for that I'm thinking I'm going to use this lovely blue washi tape. First of all, I'm going to stick it down as it is, and then we can pull it back a little bit and put some extra glue on it as well. So hopefully I'll be able to get this fairly centered like that, and we'll carefully fold it and trim it up. Okay, this section is almost done. Just to give you an idea of where this is going moving forward, we are of course doing a 12-episode journal, complete journal construction with companion printables for Vintage British Seaside. I will continue after that doing other journals to do with Vintage Britain and Heritage. For example, our next one after the Seaside is going to be British Wartime. Excuse me, British Wartime. There we go. If you have any ideas or suggestions of what you'd like to see me make with printables and journal to do with British Heritage, then please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I do have a list, but I'm always open to new ideas and suggestions. So here we go. I've cut out that part there from where it said washi tape underneath for Brighton Canvas Works. I'm struggling with the pollen in my throat today. And down the side of our first one, we've got the quality canvases made to last. And then on the inside spread, we have some different colours. I've brought the red in, I've brought the blue in. Again, we've got the Brighton Canvas Works there. We've got a nice measuring tape. We've got example stitching at the top. And on the back, we've got a nice blue stripe with the rope going through the eyelets at the top. It's already looking very seasidey, but all we have to do now is construct the 4 pages further. Okay, so I've gone ahead and printed off a lot of my printable pack, and I've cut it out. We'll just quickly go through it. One of my favourite pieces is the Brighton Canvas Works leaflet. It does actually act like a real live leaflet. Oops. And it's got all the bump about Brighton Canvas Works on that side, and lots of lovely journaling space on the inside. I absolutely love that one. And I think what we're going to do with that one is we're going to attach it with a washi tape hinge here and here, so you can actually pull it out of the journal and then put some imagery or writing space here as well. So that's that page covered. We also have, drying over here, is some lovely stripy fabric that I've stuck onto some card, and I thought we could make a nice belly band on this side with some more imagery stuck on top of it. It's just drying at the moment, so it's a little bit tacky. We have some lovely images in here, and we also have things like our Brighton canvas headed writing paper that can slip in under the belly band, and we have other stuff and things. Another one of my favourites is the actual, what we call it, these type of envelopes. I've forgotten the name for it for a minute, but they're not envelopes that you would normally use for posting. They're more like, you would have them like this and open them up and they would be like samples inside. Something like, oops, come out, something like samples, like paper samples or fabric samples. In the olden days, that's how they would do it. They'll have little envelopes like this, so you could tell where they'd come from, what company it's come from, and then when you opened it up, you would have the samples on the inside. That's another one of my favourite things, and this theme of envelope will be carried on through most of my journals. I think it's absolutely amazing. I love that idea. We've got all sorts of other stuff, including, I was thinking, on the front, it's a shame to cover up this sewing machine, but I've got a lovely pocket and I put it onto card. And what we're going to do is we're going to get like a scalpel, and I'm going to cut from there to there and put some tags in that way and some at the back. So that's going to sit on there. And instead of just doing separate tags, I've put 3 tags to a bunch. So we've got one here and another one. Excuse me. And it's all to do with the fabric swatch samples that our fictional company makes. And they've all even got their own little names. We've got Pier Stripe, Victorian Red, Coastal Breeze, and there's some others as well. And I've put those on with some lovely like ropey string that fits in with the theme. So we'll have some slotting at the back, and we'll have some slotted in our cut there also. And that just leaves us a 1 page to do, and we'll come to that in a little while. But I've got all sorts of stuff to go through, so now I'm going to do a little montage of me actually crafting. Okay, I stopped putting on the cover here because I wanted to mention a couple of things. I use double-sided tape because if you use glue, sometimes it seeps through, and because the material is quite thin, it would seep through and leave horrible patches. This way, it's gone on quite nicely, and we're not going to have any seepage through it. Also, when we get to this part, the spine, look here, you could go over it like that, but then your spine's going to get quite baggy, and we don't want a baggy spine. What we want is a nice, neat spine. So what I'm going to do with the cloth now is I'm going to get our double-sided. I'm going to put some down here to this edge of the spine and some down there to that edge of the spine, and then also put another one here. So that way, we'll put it across there, then we'll bend and carry on that way. And that way you're not going to get a horrible baggy spine. So we really, really don't want that. And while I'm here, what came today? This is 6mm jute rope, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's going to be way too thick to use inside the journal, but I thought once we get a nice cover image on here, we could go around the image with some of this beautiful rope. And then what we'll do is we'll get some sandpaper and just distress the edges and maybe put a little bit of ink on the edges as well. I don't think the cover needs much more because you've got lots of busy going on with the stripes, and then we've got like the nice rope. I think we'll just keep the cover nice and simple. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead now. I've described how to do that to you, and I'm going to finish it off. I'll see you in a minute. Once you have the cover nicely on with no bagginess to the spine, we've got it just to the edges here. This part isn't done yet, and this part isn't done yet. There is a reason for that, because now we are going to reinforce our spine. So I've cut out a piece of more card, measured it to fit in there nicely. I'm just going to use some double-sided to stick it down in there. And then we have an extra strip of fabric, and we are going to put that over it so it pokes out to either side here, so when your page goes on, all fall into bits. You're not going to have any of this showing, you're not going to have any cards showing, and it's going to be a nice, neat finish there. And also when you put your back panels on and your front panel on, it'll neaten it off even more for you, which we'll be doing that in a second. We just need to get, first of all, that put on with double-sided, and then some more of this to strengthen it. So that's what I'm going to do next. If I can give you any tips at all while you're doing this, never ever take off all the backing off every single strip at the same time. Do it one piece by one piece. You're not going to get yourself all in a tangle. It's easy to work with, and if you make a mistake, it's a lot easier to rectify. So as you can see, I've also got a strip here and a strip here, and we're going to be doing that soon because it's also going to help to tie in the back panels. As you can see here, we've got way too much fabric. So I'm just going to trim these down a little bit, and then I'll be right back with you. Okie dokie, we've got one panel fitted in, we've got the left one fitted in. Now we're going to go and do the right one together. I'm going to take this little bit of double-sided off, and we're going to put some double-sided onto here as well. For the panels, we're going to be using a combination of double-sided and glue, because they're a little bit fiddly to position, and if you just did the double-sided, then you won't be able to peel it off very well and reattach it. But if you use glue on top and also in the middle, you can slide it about and get it positioned correctly the way you want it to be. Look at it, so sticky, this one. Different brands of what I was using before. And we also need to go into here. Pull this one up. Okay. Need to get lavish amounts of glue onto here. I should pipe cakes, shouldn't I? Or ice cakes, I should say. No, I'm not going to. No. I've got enough on. I'll put some in the middle as well, because we want these to really stick fast and be really strong. put that there for a second. Right, we need to go that away. We need to check our bend. Our bend is on that green stripe there. So we need to come this way. On the orange stripe. Maybe there? How does that look? Just do it a little bit that way. And I shall go put that to a side to dry. And then we shall do a recap. I will be putting this somewhere very, very flat overnight. I'll be putting it under like a big sample book of wallpaper, so it's very, very heavy and it will get flattened out. So in today's video we have got the cover covered. We will not be decorating it until probably the last episode, because if you decorate it now and you're working on the inside, you fall victim to damaging your cover. So this is the cover now until probably the last episode. We have made our front and back panels and we have got them in situ. Again, what we'll be doing is we'll be punching some holes in here if I decide to do it that way. I haven't decided how I'm going to fix things in yet. One idea would be to punch the holes and put some rivets in. We'll think about that at a later date. That's now going to go and dry. Really, really flat and strong. Looking good. We have got our Brighton Canvas Works spread. We can put some tags in at the back. And, oops, there we go. Some tags here in the front slip. It might be a little bit tight to start with. That should look something like that. It looks really, really cute. I love that. And then we have our pull-out leaflet with our envelope. There. We have our belly band with more stripy fabric. I've got lots of other bits and pieces we can tuck in, guys. Don't worry about that. And then on the back, we've got this. And I might just decorate it up a little bit further later on. But our video is getting a little bit long now, so I wanted to stop. So there we go, guys. The first episode of the Vintage British Seaside Journal. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you like what we've created. I hope you're very inspired to create this along with me. Don't forget, every time we do an episode, there's also a companion printable pack over on Patreon, and this time it's all about Brighton Canvas Works, and you get all the deck chair patterns. It is a total of 20 image A4 size printables, and also there's freebies as well over there, and there's also some freebies over on our Facebook group too. Thank you ever so much for watching, guys. If you have any further ideas of what we can do, or any ideas for future vintage journals, please let me know in the comments. I would love, love, love to hear from you. But for now, guys, please subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Drop the video a thumbs up. Follow me on social media. All the links are in the description and on the front page. And I hope to hear from you soon. Take care, guys, and happy crafting.